stone and you throw it, and there's a portal underneath which normally takes you to the dark world. We've had to reverse that and put you in the light world. And both opting to start from the Dark Chapel, the counterpart to the Sanctuary in the other modes. And we get a map check. So 2 red crystals, ice and Maya. I think there was a green pendant in Skull Woods as well.
There was a pendant in Swamp as well.
And a pendant in Swamp. Wow, that's a lot of information already. It's like the only 5 things that you really need to look for: 3 pendants and 2 red crystals, and then everything else is just is vanilla crystal. And that's like 4 out of 5 already. Wow.
Looks like we had a big 20 on Bumper Ledge, and we had 10 arrows on our level 1 tree pole.
It looks as though Bonta is now headed all the way round to the back of Skull Woods, the second part out of the 3. And zer0rush is opting to go in through the drop down. Bonta taking a death.
I think zer0rush is just picking up those 2 bombs there, so he had some for other purposes.
It also gets a check out the way very quickly, and unfortunately it was only the compass. Compasses and maps not doing anything for us. We're not playing Key Sanity, which they would actually do something for us, but no. It's just a thing which isn't an item.
Bonta getting hassled by the Gibdos in the statue pool room.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. They want to be your friend and they try to give you a hug, but back off! You're hurting me. They don't know this. And also, you've got a floor master dropping from the ceiling as well, who doesn't want to be your friend. He just wants to rescue you and take you to the beginning of the dungeon again. We don't want that.
Bonta's gonna have to watch with that 1 heart coming into this room.
Yeah, like touch by any of these enemies is death, as demonstrated. But that one was intentional.
Yep, picked up that small key and is on his way somewhere else now. And zer0rush right behind him going into that same enemy room.
Gonna have to take the damage to get through. That red Stalfos just does not want to get out the way. Going for the save and quit now, done with Skullwoods. None of our runners have found anything useful in here, but a couple of bomb drops from the Circle of Stones. There's not really anything else here which is of any value. Zero with the save and quit is now going over to the Hype Cave.
He did find that piece of heart within his house, and now we get to see what's in the Hype Cave. We have our first sword.
Ooh, that's nice. Especially with Randomize, you know that Uncle's not going to have anything.
And the flippers and the power glove. I'd say that's a pretty hype cave.
Yeah, I would definitely take that. 40 rupees, flippers, gloves, sword. It's really, yeah, that's really nice to start things off.
zer0rush doing his map check, and we do confirm that the pendant of wisdom, the blue pendant, is in Swamp Palace.
Bonta is now going to complete the Hype Cave as well, so not much of a time lost despite those early deaths trying to get through past those Gibdos.
Looks like we're going to come up here and check on Stumpy and see what he has for us today.
Well, more bombs, that's always welcome these early stages of the game.
He is going to need at least 1 here coming up into the Village of Outcasts, but he's not going to be able to access it from the south like this.
No, more than likely he's just going to continue on over to the digging game, but first we're going to have some archery. You don't need the bow for this. Yeah, we don't need the bow, but they supply 1. And double your money every time you hit anything. So here's 32. And 64. You have to be very good with the accuracy of those, so a full 5 out of 5 there. Very nice.
So we'll get to see the digging game, and the item will come up in between 1 and 30 digs, so... And you do have only 30 seconds to pull this off.
Yeah, at least 1 dig per second you will get the item. But also, lots of other things as well. Okay, hookshot. That's nice. I would like a hook shot from there. I tend to get rubbish, like 20 rupees.
Right now, our runners are just following each other's footsteps, depends on who gets somewhere first. Bonta going for his hook shot at the dig game. zer0rush heading to the west. Is he going back to Skull Woods?
My guess would be at this point, most of our runners are confident enough that they don't need the lamp to go through dark rooms, so I'm assuming that he's going all the way up to Death Mountain now, and that is the case, opening up by lifting up that rock, and now in the dark. Should be relatively straightforward with either the hookshot or the sword to help you get through this area.
And he's using the charged sword, which is a very common strategy for most speedrunners in when they want to skip through a dark room like this without the lamp.
Yeah, very useful to have that constant source of light showing you where in the screen you are. It gives you a sense of direction while you're navigating.
Now, this is going to be one of those things that has changed. You see, the old man is with us, but we are on Dark Death Mountain. We are going to have to come up to this portal up here near the ball and monster to come back to the light world, and then drop all the way back down to the cave to get the item from the old man and open up that spawn point.
And it's incredibly slow, because even if you try and run, the old man will slow you down. He can only go so quickly. He's only got little legs. So everything gets slowed down, but when we deposit him off, he will give us a nice item. It will also unlock the Dark Mountain save point from when we save and quit menu.
Just a piece of art, but we did see another item. We did see the big 20 on top of Spectacle Rock.
Yeah, the items and the locations, they're not great so far. So 20 rupees on Spectacle Rock, that's probably not going to be picked up. And of course we're in bunny form as well, because we haven't found the Moon Pearl just yet. But we will be able to get the item inside Spectacle Rock Cave. We'll also be able to get the hint tile.
As you can see our bunny forms here. We have zer0rush with the normal bunny form, and Bonta with the Celeste bunny sprite, since he is using Mog from Final Fantasy VI.
You also got a small map check there, and we saw that the last pendant was in Eastern Palace, so the remaining 2 dungeons by elimination, they are crystals.
The Pendant of Power is in Eastern Palace, so there we go.
So already that gives us a couple of hints as to what we might need to start this seed off. The interesting one for me always is Desert Palace, whether it's required or not. In Standard or Open mode, you can get into Desert Palace either by the book or by using the flute to go over there and then accessing the palace through the Misery Mire area. Unfortunately, because of the way this works, we start off in the Dark World and we can't use the mirror to go from Dark to Light World. The only way to get into Desert Palace is via the book. And so, yeah, definitely going to see books available at some point.
zer0rush braving the Lionels to get to Hookshot Cave, finding a heart container, the Blue Mail. Just a big 20 in that chest, and our final chest having the mirror.
Oh, holy items, Batman. Wow. That's a lot of items that I would definitely want early on in the seed.
That armor is going to help him out a lot as we check out Super Bunny Cave. Bonta deciding not to go that route and is in the Village of Outcasts.
Small differences will all add up later on. Probably, maybe. Oh, vanilla! 300 rupees in the Sea House for Bonta.
Now, Bonta will have to come up and do Hookshot Cave to get that mirror. But right now, it looks like zer0rush is going to be following in Bonta's footsteps and going to the Village of Outcasts. As we check out the brewery, Bonta finding the fire rod.
Yeah, Fire Rod is that's it. Wow, so many nice items early on in the seed. Why can't I have this?
That
Fire
is an
Rod.
item that will be required for progression, not only to get to the back of Skull Woods, but also to defeat Trinex and access some rooms in Turtle Rock. And just some rupees from the chess game. Looks like Bonta is going to be headed in for the dreaded 4-heart green male Thieves Town. This is something that happens quite often in inverted seeds, is that you do have to deal with a low health, no armor Thieves Town. Not a fun experience.
Yeah, 2 dungeons immediately available as soon as you start this run. The front half of Skullwoods and, of course, Thieves Town. But because inverted mode, we like to be a little bit more dangerous. None of the enemies' damage values have been changed, so if you get hit by that Hinox leaving the Dark Sanctuary, yeah, you just die instantly early on in the game. So you have to be very careful to avoid all forms of damage early on until, you know, you beef up, you get your heart containers going, you get your armor going, and your shields going, and maybe a couple of weapons in there as well, and then you can take on everything. But yeah, very dangerous early game when you start playing inverted mode.
Bonta only finding one of the randomized items in Thieves Town in the front 4, and it was only 10 arrows. He did, however, pick up all 3 dungeon items, the map, the big key, and the compass. So anything else we find from here on is going to be an item, which means we're going to have to come back here to pick up everything, unless we find...
Yeah. The only thing that we can hope for is we do not find the small key before Blind. If we don't have a small key once we start rescuing Blind and picking up that chest, the small key is locked away in the big chest. But it's not looking great. 3 items out of 4 in the front were all the dungeon items, so it's risky. It's not likely that excuse me. It's not likely that you're going to get away with not having to pick up the small key.
On to picking up the hint here telling us that the boots are with a great fairy. Now that could be that they are in the Waterfall of Wishing, or in the Fat Fairy, or with the Fat Fairy in the pyramid.
Yeah, that's a really good hint to have as well. Like really early on, you get to know where the boots are. You get to go fast for the rest of the game once you get there.
To answer a question in chat, yes, you can get to Death Mountain without the flute in inverted. The Bumper Cave entrance is actually going to be linking to the normal and Death Mountain entrance, where we have to rescue the old man so that we can still access Death Mountain.
Yeah, more of the magic of going into the back of this game, just connecting things up to make it accessible and nice for the player to play without damaging too much of the, you know, level geometry and the locations. Obviously, some had to be fixed because you're not meant to access them traveling from the light world to the dark world, but yeah, everything got taken care of. VTUP is amazing.
Bonta did pick up another heart container on the first floor of Thieves Town, where we have to place a bomb to get the light to come into Blind's room, and zer0rush picking up his heart in the same. And only bombs with the maiden, so that means that Blind could have the last item, or Blind could be holding that small key that is blocking the big chest from being accessed.
I don't know. I know that for standard Europa mode, Blind can't hold the small key. I'm pretty sure it's the same for inverted, so I think that's the last item is on Blind, which is great.
And
but
even
again,
though we only have the fighter sword, Blind is a scripted fight. 3 hits per head, no matter what weapon you're using that can damage him. Either cane, the hammer, or any of the swords. So you're not going to have a lot of trouble dealing damage to the guy.
The only thing you have to be careful with is the fireballs and the heads coming straight back at you. Fireballs always 1 damage, no matter what your armor level. The heads, like green armor, do 2 hearts of damage, but a very nice fight from Bonta and a neat medallion for the troubles. And that's the first crystal down as well.
Zero Rush is right on his heels coming into the treadmill room. At the level these players are, making it all the way to the brackets already. They do make this look very easy. Looks like Bonta's headed back to Skull Woods.
Yeah, absolutely. Fire rod in hand, better capability of dealing with some of the nasty things that you can find in Skull Woods, having 5 heart containers.
Now, chat pointing out something that yes, indeed, we have sequence broken. We have gone outside of the logic, breaking through that dark room to rescue the old man, which means that the hookshot cave items were completely out of logic for Zero Rush. Since you have to, by logic, have the lamp to get through that room.
The good thing for our runners is that they are well trained with most of these rooms and can do the dark rooms without the lamp. But the good thing from a casual perspective, if you wanted to play this race, play the seed after the race, for example, even if you weren't particularly fond of doing dark rooms, the lamp is in the logic somewhere. The seed is generated in such a way that it is possible to eventually do everything in the game. So the lamp is out there somewhere. It's in a place where they can access without doing any sort of sequence breaking. They just haven't found it yet. Hopefully, with these sequence breakings, they will save quite a bit of time as well.
Bonta narrowly missing the bunny beam on his way to Mothula. 5 heart green male moth fight.
Yeah, this one is scary. Mothula can do crazy things sometimes. And again,
with only the fighter sword and the fire rod, he's got to be careful when he takes his shots. He doesn't have much magic and he has no way to refill.
Yeah, spikes again, always 1 heart, no matter what the armor level. Mothula, bump into it or take damage from the onion rings. That's 2 hearts. That's not useful either. You also have to be careful of the spikes and Mothula interaction. If Mothula gets hit into the spikes while taking damage, the spikes will override that amount of damage and reduce it to 0. So, again, absolutely not wanted. Just try and...
Bonta down to 1 heart as Zero Rush enters the Mothula fight.
Most runners will try and keep the fire rod so they can use the shots to help Mothula get away from the side of the room and prevent those spikes from reducing the damage down to 0, but we got there in the end. No magic left, no room for error, but Bonta gets the green pendant.
And the big key, so he is going to come back in here likely and check that big chest. Zero Rush finishing roughly at the same time.
Having a small advantage of an extra heart container and the blue armor reducing all of Mothula's attacks to only 1 heart. But again, it's still a really scary fight going in there with only this amount of equipment.
Bonta coming back into Mothula's lobby, Zero Rush on his heels to check that last item. And we have the hammer!
This is a great item to have in inverted mode. It opens up the rest of the Dark World map. Now you can access the Pyramid and the Palace of Darkness without having to do, you know, traversing all over the map just to get to one place. Now this is solid, straight, direct access. You can get there very quickly from the Dark House, Link's house in the Dark World.
In addition to those, we also have access to the Catfish check, and also we now have a weapon that deals more damage, with the hammer doing tempered sword damage, 3 points, but with a much smaller hit. Zero Rush going back into Skull Woods to check that big chest. From the drop down, and going to use a bomb. Looks like Bonta's going to bomb jump over and into the mini Moldworms. Just some bombs for his trouble.
Yeah. It's not going to do anything for Zero Rush, already at max capacity for bombs, so...
Bonta hitting Dark Death Mountain, maybe going for Hookshot Cave? And
It
Zero
looks
Rush goes to the
likely.
east, going for that that play up here now that he has the hammer.
Headed over to the pyramid to start. We already know that there's one item up there, and there are two pyramids inside, two items inside the pyramid, which we can't get to just yet.
Now, something I don't think we mentioned is that the change also involving Ganon's Tower. Now, Ganon's Tower that Bonta just passed actually is the castle tower where we have to fight Aga 1. But since this is not an all dungeons check, we won't have to do that. And Zero Rush finding the Master Sword on the pyramid ledge. So when we have to go fight Aga 2, we are going to have to go to the Light World and get to the castle tower where Aga 1 normally is to fight Aga 2. It is also where Ganon will drop, making a big hole in the castle roof.
Bonta takes an unfortunate death on the top of Death Mountain, trying to get past those Lionels and trying to get round again. It's difficult.
It looked like he was trying to use a bomb to get that little bit of invulnerability to blast past them so that he wouldn't have to take all the damage from them, just the one heart from the bomb.
Yeah, small amount of damage boosting just to use the invincibility frames and get past them. It worked that time. That's good news. And here's Hookshot Cave and Bunny Cave as well.
Going right past Hookshot Cave where he needs to go to get to the Super Bunny. As Zero Rush bribes Kiki the monkey to open up the Palace of Darkness. Bonta only finding 20 arrows inside the Super Bunny Cave. Hopefully makes his way into Hookshot. And he may also check Turtle Rock to see what medallion we're going to be needing to get into it. Now, if there's no small key in this chest, we are not bow locked. At least, not initially. You do have to have the bow to complete pod.
You have to make very good use of the keys that you're given right at the very start as well, because it is possible to run out of keys when you're at the back of the dungeon and then realise you're stuck now until you get the bow. So you have to be very careful with how you spend the keys in this part of the dungeon.
And Bonta is indeed going to check Turtle Rock for us, and it is Quake. So vanilla medallion requirement to get into Turtle Rock, but again, we are inverted. We might not even need to find Quake since we can access the back of Turtle Rock without.
It is possible to complete the entirety of Turtle Rock and not even have to deal with opening up the main entrance. And Zero Rush is finding enough small keys to continue right now. Also got the big key.
We find out that some cash is in the Kakariko well as Bonta heads north, going to check the Grumpy Fish. Going to see what we have on Catfish today. Zero Rush making his way through the arena quite easily. Not going to throw a bomb over or attempt the hammer yump.
Oh, he got nudged into the pit by the Helmosaur there.
Just some bombs on the Catfish.
That's not great. I mean, I wouldn't say no, having only 4 bombs, but again, it's not great. At least you haven't paid money to
get up there.
Yeah. And you can't mirror out to go to Zora's domain because inverted. Although, if you went to Zora's domain, you could go backwards and mirror out to Catfish.
Zero Rush hitting the dark room without the lamp, finding a heart container and 10 arrows in the rupee dark room underneath Palace of Darkness. And now we get to see if Zero Rush is going to do the dark maze if he finds a key in the south room here.
Yeah, big decision. And it's still a small key, so nothing lost here, but we are going to have to... Oh, he's going to navigate the dark maze. There's 2 items in here, and then he's got the big chest. Are you going to try the bomb jump?
He's going to try the hammer jump. Now, this is one of the trickier jumps since it does involve a little bit of glitching. And he does pull it off, finding 50 rupees in the big chest.
Yep, 2 pixel perfect jumps, or semi-pixel perfect jumps, is very difficult, and manages to get it relatively straightforward. And picks up the map, I think that was.
Yes, that did appear to be the map. As
It's
he
difficult.
navigates his way through, he's got to be careful of those fire breathers.
It's difficult to tell sometimes, because sometimes the items will show up on the map and you know exactly what they are, and sometimes they don't show up at all, and then you scrabble around in the menu and go, what was it? So, trying to navigate his way to the chest in the top left of the room. Meanwhile,
Yes.
Bonta has to be very careful. 1 heart of health, and heads it over with Kiki now, and is able to get there without dying. That would be unfortunate, having to walk all the way back to this area.
Not only would he take a death, but Kiki would also run off. You have to spend another 10 rupees just to get the monkey to follow him again.
Yeah, expensive.
And we still do have to consider we have a 500 rupee drop coming up once we get to the light world and be able to check King Zora. zer0rush having a little bit of trouble navigating the dark maze, trying to get to that last chest in the top left.
Yeah, the entrance is in here. Ah, there it is. It's just a bloopy. Ah, oh well. And now with that, he's locked out of the rest of the dungeon. Needs the bow to complete.
Bonta deciding to bomb open that one door there ahead of time, so he won't have to worry about it later, saving himself a little bit of time. And normally, you could also get through to some of those rooms with the potion glitch. However, we don't have a bottle yet, so we're not going to be able to utilize that as zer0rush makes his way to the dreaded Ice Palace.
Ooh. This place gives me the shivers, and not just because it's covered in ice, but also because everything in here, it wants to kill you. I don't like this place.
There are a good number of hints there, and we do find out a required item. The ice rod is in Gary's lunchbox. So we do not have to play every runner's favorite game, Where is the Ice Rod?
Yeah, apart from the silver arrows, the ice rod has, like, the most potential locations it could possibly be, because it's only needed for 1 boss.
That is an excellent hint to have, especially this early. Now we don't have to go searching all over Hyrule and the Dark World just to find that ice rod.
Yep, chat points out the irony as well. Ice Rod, the hint for that being in Ice Palace. Yeah. Good job, game.
Looks like zer0rush is setting himself up for a bomb jump. The unique item is in the Skull Woods. We've already found that.
Yep, then you got the conveyor room, and then next one, the infamous Ice Palace bomb jump room.
Bonta utilizing the fire rod to light up the rupee dark room underneath Pod, so he can see what's going on. zer0rush making that jump no problem.
Yeah, looking at this and looking at how to route any percent, they said, hands down, this is the trick you need to learn first, because this makes everything else easier to figure out. And Ice Palace bomb jump is... You have to have good awareness of where you are, where to place the bomb, and how this affects the rest of the dungeon.
It is one of the trickier bomb jumps to learn. I mean, I have trouble with it still, but you know, there's a reason these guys are here in the brackets and I'm not. A piece of heart is in plain sight. So
the more
12,
dubious.
what do you think the hard-to-find go mode item is going to be this run?
I have some favourites, like Ice Rod is normally a favourite. When it's Key Sanity, all dungeons, then it's like Hyrule Castle Tower, Small Key. But I don't know, I think for this one, as it's inverted, I'm going to say the book, because we know Desert is required as a crystal, so I'm going to say that book's going to be elusive.
I think I saw chat agreeing with you. They're hoping for the book on the pedestal. Chat always loving those pedestal scenes. And we find the lamp in Ice Palace. So we are back in logic with zer0rush.
That's nasty. You don't want to find that there any of the time. Oh. I mean, you want to find it because it's a lamp, but you don't want to find it there. That's terrible. The game should be ashamed of itself.
It was like Bonta's getting ready to join zer0rush in the Ice Palace. To answer my own question earlier, I'm a big fan of the bow being a giant pain in the butt. So I think the bow is going to be our go mode item that we can't find for a while. Kind of hoping for a vanilla location on there.
That could be interesting. Although it would make Palace of Darkness relatively nice, you finish Eastern and then mirror out to go to Palace of Darkness. That sounds good.
zer0rush picking up the big key for Ice Palace, deciding not to drop down and get the big chest right off the bat.
No, going backwards round this set of rooms and headed to Ice Tea Room. Finding another small key.
Spend a key, get a key.
And now we're going to head back round to the Freezor room. And then don't need to drop down to get to the big chest, you just need to understand how this hookshot works. Okay. No, just getting the hookshot ready. I was thinking he was going to waste a bomb? Really? Why? Why would you do that when you can just trick the game a little bit and use the hookshot?
Only finding the compass for his trouble. Yeah, that glitch is very handy. In dungeons, while the block is in motion, it technically doesn't exist. So you can hookshot through it if you have something to grapple to on the other side. Now, outside of dungeons, in, say, Paradox Cave, you can utilize the magic mirror while the block is in motion to get the block to disappear completely.
Yeah, that only works in the original Japanese 1.0 version. For some reason, they didn't code anything for the mirror when you're pushing a block. The game doesn't know what to do, so it just deletes it from the game. It makes sense to me.
zer0rush pushing Cold Stare into his corner using the hammer. Getting rid of that first puff pretty quick. Now the second puff down. zer0rush making this look easy.
Yeah, you don't want to be hooking Cold Stare, because when he bumps into you, that's a lot of damage, but making it look really easy. And getting a crystal for the trouble.
And it's only 10 arrows. That's Ice Palace down.
It's one of the crystals required to get into the pyramid, so that's, yeah, one of the hazards down. Still got to get Maya if you want the other red crystal to get into that pyramid, though.
For that, we're going to need the Cane of Samaria and the medallion required to get in there, which vanilla is the ether medallion.
You also need a flute. And, yeah, nothing coming from the flute just yet. Don't know where that is.
Not with inverted. You can go into the light world and climb up the ladder to get to the Bombos medallion, which is one of those changes we were discussing earlier. Or just walk straight into the desert and mirror back to the dark world, and there you are in misery.
Yeah. That's still a hassle.
Though if you do have the book, what I think would be better is if you go up that ladder, check the Bombos tablet, jump off, go get a Gina. Then another change that's happened, the plateau that has Checkerboard Cave on it has been flattened, so you can access that easily from the light world. Check that, and then jump into the dark world.
Yeah, getting all of those checks done all at the same time. We like to see runners have an idea of how they're planning their route in their head and going to item-dense locations and doing all the checks all in one go, and eventually that will save time in the long run.
zer0rush taking the bombs from Catfish and going up to the Death Mountain again. Is he going to make that Turtle Rock play entering from Laser Bridge? Without the
Struggling
cane
to see what else he could do, because without the Moon Pearl, the rest of the Light World Death Mountain is out of access.
Doesn't have the Cane of Burna or the Cape to get access to the Spike Cave. He's going to see Agina. Or Aghanim. I misspoke. He's going to Aghanim for his Light World access.
Immediately discounting all of the possibilities and said, nope, I've had enough, I'm just taking on the big guy. Requirement for this, in normal modes, you need at least the Master Sword, or you need a sword and the cape. In inverted mode, you just need a sword. It doesn't even have to be the Master Sword, you just need one. And that's good
only
enough.
Because of the curtains.
Yeah. Obviously, if you were playing this and you wanted to be in logic and you wanted to actually see where you were going in these maze rooms, you'd want the lamp as well. It's already climbed up to the 4th floor.
And there is a hint tile up here, so we will get another little clue as to where some things are. That, or we'll just get a bad jump.
Sometimes both.
Those are never fun, unless you're in chat.
Unless you're commentating the race, and yeah.
And here's our hint tile.
The game has a severe case of post-cognition.
And he thinks a cup of tea would help.
I think Christos Owen would agree. I know I certainly agree.
I think I'd prefer something a little stronger myself, but I can see why tea would be appealing. Alright, Bonta in the cold stare fight and making quick work of those 3 puffs. Gonna get his 10 arrows and his red crystal. zer0rush having none of the guards garbage and just using the hookshot to stun them. Which he can do with this being normal mode.
Well, time to say hi Zelda and then immediately bye Zelda.
And then we get to play ping pong with the wizard.
That we do. Up to between 0 and 15 blue ball shots. The energy is reflectable and that will damage him. The blue ball is not reflectable and that will hurt us. There's one.
Bonta making his way up to the tower to fight the wizard as well. Now this next spell will be the lightning bolts. This is hard-coded into it. It is the 5th one is always the lightning bolts.
Good news is the shot immediately afterwards is always reflectable energy. But the next 3 is 50-50, whether it's energy shot or blue balls. Very nice.
Very clean. There's only 1 blue ball from Aga today. And here we are in the light world in bunny form. I think those guards are going to want some stew.
Oh goodness. That's like a traffic jam waiting to happen. All the guards are piling up on top of each other to try and get the bunny.
And with Link's house being in the Dark World, what is normally Link's house in the Light World is indeed the bomb shop, and we see that yes, the red pendant is in Palace. So fun for everyone.
Run, rabbit, run.
And I'm not quite sure where zer0rush is.
going straight over to the swamp area.
He's gonna mirror over, and he's gonna check that. He's gonna. What is he gonna do?
I think he's trying a small glitch here to get into Super Bunny state, and then he'll be able to push blocks and pull levers, and that will drain the moat. Also, he'll be able to check this chest on the way, because, as we mentioned before, using the mirror while pushing a block deletes the block from the game, which is very handy.
So there's the Super Bunny glitch and the mirror push block glitch, and we get to see what item is under the water out of sequence, and it is only 50 rupees. He's going to mirror back to the Dark World and probably check this hint.
Having pulled the swamp as well, there we have Flipper, Hookshot, Hammer. You've got Swamp.
And a hint for the Swamp Palace telling him that the mirror is in the big chest. I can't blame him for making this play in Swamp Palace, so it does have a pretty high item concentration.
Yeah, I think it's got the most out of all dungeons, tied with Turtle Rock, 6. It's a lot of items.
And we have gone back out of logic, since we did have to glitch using Super Bunny to get into the Swamp Palace, since we do not have the Moon Pearl. zer0rush not having any of that logic today. Bonta making his battle with the wizard look easy, as we go for his 5th spell with the lightning bolts. Now, with the logic with the wizard, the spell order will always be the same for both runners here. So Bonta, provided he does get all of those reflection shots, will only have 1 blue ball.
There we go, there's a dead wizard number 1. We'll be seeing wizard number 2 later.
And now Celeste will make her way down through the guards. And instead of going south towards the Swamp Palace, looks like we're going to the west to go to Kakariko Village.
I wouldn't be surprised that we see a sanctuary check here as well. That is immediately available because it's out in the open. But, no, just straight on over. Kakariko Village.
zer0rush deciding to skip left side swamp, finding which leaves 2 items behind, and we do know that the big chest contains only the map for the dungeon. A piece of heart on the bottle vendor as Bonta goes into the back of the tavern, looking to set up Super Bunny and managing to pull it off, only finding a big 20. Seems Bonta likes his logic. He's quite comfortable with it.
I like how chat is freaking out. It's like, no, this is too much out of logic for me. I can't handle this. This is too much.
zer0rush finding the big key, but not going to get much out of that since we know it's just the map. Bonta mirroring out to avoid those guards with only half a heart. I can't really blame him. Going to use the invulnerability to get into the library and see what we need the boots for here. And it is a bottle with a blue potion.
Interesting find for Zero on his way to the back of the dungeon to pick a fight with Argus. He found the cape. It's a nice invulnerability item.
Bonta having some mirror bonk issues, going and rescuing Jeremiah the Bullfrog to get the blacksmith chain going.
Zero making short work of Argus's puffs, and now time for the jellyfish itself.
And we find the Moon Pearl on the blacksmiths with Bonta.
Yep, chat were correct to point out that that was in logic at the time, and Well then. And now chat goes mad.
Bonta doing the hammer pegs before he picks up Gary's lunchbox, which we know that lunchbox contains the ice rod. And we get to see what's in this cave. Just 10 arrows. We will not be seeing those.
More bunny activities coming up for zer0rush, opting to take the portal back to the light world.
Using that bomb so that he can walk through it without sifting back, and now on his way to open up the lunchbox. But it seems we're going to make a few stops first. Little domestic terrorism and possible animal cruelty in the chicken hut. And it pays off for him with a bottle. Now he can check the sick kid. And he has that blue potion.
Blue potions are nice. Write that down, chat. If you don't know that previously, blue bottles are good.
I didn't get to see what was in Cave 45 of zer0rush.
I don't think I did either.
Vanilla bug net from the sick kid.
Oh wow, most important item in the game found.
Looks like the race game is just 20 rupees. We will not be going to see that. Arrows were in Cave 45. Thank you, chat. As Bonta goes down with only half a heart, he's got to be careful. Guards are everywhere now since we killed Aga. Into Blind's hideout. 5 items in here.
Big money. Lots of money. All the money!
We have no worry about money anymore.
It's over 1,000! Or something. Seriously though, how many was that? 620 plus?
670 rupees in the basement of Blind's hideout with 10 arrows.
Disgusting. That's a lot of money.
zer0rush going to pick up his moon pearl from the blacksmiths as Bonta takes the lunchbox for a dive down in the well. Finding more money.
Yeah. I would definitely trade 10 rupees for a moon pearl. That seems like a really good trade. Oh goodness, how much money do you want, Bonta? Seriously, and that's another 170. $1 billion, etc.
No, we're not going to have any problem buying potions later. That's for sure.
Or anything. I'm fairly sure you could like buy all of Hyrule with that money. Most ordinary people's wallets only go up to $9.99, and we've got over 1,000. Breaking the system.
Bonta getting hassled by that spear guard before dropping down. He's going to check race game. Only find that 20, and I don't think he's going to need 20 more rupees.
Just another drop in the ocean at this point.
He's going to take the lunchbox down on the South Tor here. Going to stop off at Cave 45. And you see that little special design that was put into that area, the little Vitor, doing excellent coding. A lot of people miss that.
It's the little things that make the game interesting and enjoyable. Like the bug net being a vanilla location now, you have the most important item in the game. Seriously.
It's going to show off during Aga 2 Geometry Wars. As Bonta picks up his ice rod while zer0rush goes into the gold mine that is Kakariko's well and Blind's hideout. Now here's another change. It's this ladder that's right here that can take you up to the Bombos tablet. Since we can't mirror over from the dark world into the light, we had to have a way to access these different areas. So we're going to check Agina and maybe go up north and check the checkerboard cave as well.
Yeah,
Let's see what the Hermit has for us.
I think the hope for most of our runners now is they find the bow or they find the flute, because either or, that gets them to a lot more of their locations. Or at
Just a
least
little
the
bit of
flute.
love from the Hermit.
The flute gets people there a lot quicker, and you have to feel good about yourself when you have the mirror and the flute and the boots, and you can go everywhere fast.
Though it is not strictly required with inverted mode. And in Checkerboard Cave, we find the bow!
Oh, that's one of the items we talked about. And Eastern, Palace of Darkness, and the rest. Bow is a great weapon to have.
Bow is also always required in the randomizer, since we do have to get through the red mimics and the red Igors, and then we find the mushroom on the desert. It looks like Bonta's going to be checking the Mire Shed, and we have vanilla medallion requirements in our seed today. Ether required for Misery Mire. There's that mirror trick we were talking about, making those nasty little blocks disappear, just finding a bunch of blue in the Mire Shed.
zer0rush has headed into the Lost Woods and then found nothing of value in the drop down in the Thieves hideout. And nothing of value at the mushroom spot, 3 bombs. So now it looks though possibly headed over to Lumberjack. We've already done Aga 1 for both of our runners, so you can always check out.
We had a vanilla bug net. We have vanilla medallion requirements. Looks like Bonta's going to make his way and make the Swamp Palace play.
Piece of heart at the Lumberjack, so even though our runners have done Aga 1, it's not worth picking that item up. That'll take a long time.
zer0rush making his way to the graveyard, choosing to skip over Sanctuary.
Yeah,
Be able to check Graveyard Ledge with this lovely ladder that has been installed for us. Bonta going for Mini Moldorm.
Because you can couple this with the back of escape sequence, and then you get the Sanctuary chest for free as well, and if you leave out the back.
Vanilla Piece of Heart. There's a lot of vanilla going around today. Cane of Samaria, the book, a bottle in Mini Moldorm Cave with Bonta. All the value right there.
Well then. Yeah, okay. Let's go with that then. Ooh. Piece of heart, a small key, and a penny in the back of escape in the bomb room.
zer0rush going for the Dark Cross. As Bonta makes his way to the Waterfall of Wishing. Now, we did get a hint the boots are with the Great Fairy, so the boots very well could be here. Those are not the red items we were hoping for. It means the boots are with Fat Fairy. Bonta deciding not to go to King Zora and spend 500 rupees and see what item was on the ledge there. Will he go north to the Hobo, or will he go east to Ice Rod Cave? Looks like he's going to go neither and go up to Eastern Palace Sastralara.
Chat have questioned whether Bonta thinks he's in go mode or not with the items that he has. We could do a quick check if you'd like. Let's have a quick look here. Desert Palace requires the book, which we have. Tower of Hera, yeah, the access seems good right now. Palace of Darkness, clearly. We have the bow. Misery Mire, we have Ether, we can get in. We have the Red Cane, so we can get on with things in there as well. Turtle Rock, we have almost all the requirements for. So in Schrodinger's go mode, because we won't know whether we need the Quake Medallion or not until we get in there.
And we also don't know if the Ganon's Tower Big T is on, or Big Key is on Bob's torch or not, which would require the boots. Also, we don't know what's on the Desert Palace torch, so Schrodinger's go mode.
Yeah.
Bonta back in pod. Going to forego the items up on those ledges there and go straight for Helmasaur King. zer0rush makes his way up to the Waterfall of Wishing. And maybe King Zora? To answer a question in chat, we may not need Quake as this is inverted. So in the light world, we can drop down onto a platform on eastern Death Mountain and then use the mirror to go into the dark world. And that one ledge is the exit, the safety exit for Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock. So we may not at all need to get that Quake medallion. We get to see what the big fish has for us today. Is it a life lesson? Is it love lesson? Life lesson, though not as bad as the normal ones.
Yeah. You just invested money in him and he said, sorry, I did my best and this is what I came back with. You made some money back at least. It's not a complete pyramid scheme.
The Zora ledge being a vanilla piece of heart. We're continuing with our trend of having quite a bit of vanilla here in this scene. zer0rush makes his way back to Lake Hylia through the Zora, while Bonta is starting to give King Helmasaur the business end of his hammer.
Well, there's Quake Medallion. Is on the island in the middle of the lake. Interesting. Commentators are in no mode, that's the only thing which matters now, because we know exactly where all the items are that we need to piece together some sort of path between the two runners.
Bonta almost using his blue potion on King Helmasaur, but taking him down anyway. Finding the silver arrows on King Helmasaur. That's going to make life easy for him, while zer0rush gets bombs from a man who lives under a bridge. This is suspicious to me.
I don't know anymore. I mean, the only thing that our runners could possibly want for now is a better sword to make the Ganon fight a little easier, but other than that, there's really nothing left.
And we get to see what the uncle has for us. It is not a sword. It is only 20 rupees. Even with the randomized swords, if Uncle is holding a sword for us, you will see him holding the fighter sword and the fighter shield with him as he's laying there. Something I picked up a little early on that I thought was kind of neat. Bonta making his way to the desert as zer0rush goes into the escape sequence. Chat pointing out that this seed has been very kind to our runners today. I'd be inclined to agree with them.
Yeah, definitely. This is not the easiest of modes, and it seems as though the seed has generally been very kind with all of its placements.
Inverted is even worse for players with a lot of experience in open and standard, because you have that muscle memory of, okay, I have this, I need to go over here, I have this, I need to go over here. But with Inverted, things have changed so dramatically that you have to rework all of that muscle memory. And it's pretty nasty if you make that slip up thinking, oh, well, I have this, I need to go over here, and then you realize you're in the dark world, and you can't get back to the light world, your pathing's different. And the big key is on the Torch of Desert Palace.
The boots are required.
The boots are required, and we do know where the boots are. And Bonta is going to get his red crystal from Misery Mire to get those boots from the Fat Fairy.
Yeah, unfortunate. Just a little bit of forced routing on the Seeds part. It can't be completely nice. It has to have some bite to it somewhere. So he's deciding forced boots. You have to go into Mire first, whether you want to or not. But
this is as mean as the seed gets. This is still a very, very gentle, very kind inverted seed. Bonta getting hassled by the Beamos as zer0rush makes his way back up Dark Death Mountain. I'm not sure where he's going. Is he going to play Turtle Rock?
it's going to be interesting. He's definitely got Laser Bridge, but no access to the boss, no way of killing the boss, and that red cane is sort of essential for all sorts of travel within Turtle Rock itself. So not likely. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, we haven't seen any of the Paradox Cave or Spiral Cave yet, so that is also a possibility for right now.
That's exactly where he's going to Eastside Death Mountain here. Yeah, zer0rush needs to get to Mini Moldorm Cave. Chat pointing that out. I'm inclined to agree, because that's where so much value is found. Made by Bonta. Here we're going to see the mirror trick. And we find our first shield, the fighter shield found in Paradox Cave's basement. Or first floor, depending on, how you're looking at this. This Paradox Cave is weird.
It's inside the mountain. It is just a floor. I don't think we can label them. The game doesn't even know what floor. You fall down a floor to go up the mountain. I mean,
zer0rush finding more money and the Cane of Burna. So now zer0rush having both invincibility items.
whoops.
As Bonta enters the cutscene room within Misery Mire. zer0rush going to make the bomb jump here. So he can get up and get to Spiral Cave. Which, without the boots, is kind of a walk of shame.
Sometimes you just go dumpty dumpty dum, and you slowly walk your way around, and then you think about it and go, okay, maybe we should have come here with the boots. But sometimes you find the boots in there, so.
And it looks like he's not going to check Spiral Cave. He's instead opting to go to the Tower of Hera, which is a required dungeon, so it's not a bad play.
And with the fire sources, it's all completable, so get the crystal out of the way. Makes sense.
2 items in here. And it looks like we are likely going into the basement to see that lovely tile room and the fire-locked chest beyond. A piece of heart is above the pose. We've already seen that vanilla piece of heart, and we find the 10 bomb drop, which is itself a unique item.
So zer0rush is about to prepare a coffee break, while Bonta is now headed into the very depths of Misery Mire to take on Vitreous.
Which, with those silver arrows, that's not going to take him long, and it's not going to be difficult for him at all, as we do get the coffee break from zer0rush.
Realizing that he may have been slightly stuck on the place where he was positioned, he's going to have to try the tile room again. And this time, coffee break please. Coffee break please. There we go.
There we go. Having a little bit of trouble trying to heat that pot. As Bonta makes very fast work of Vitreous's little mini-me, 2 silver arrows to the pupil, and Vitreous is down.
Another heart container and a crystal. And that's the all-important 5-6 crystal required. Now we can get over to that pyramid and get those boots.
Big key in its vanilla location within the Tower of Hera. Bonta deciding not to jump back through his rift and go into the Desert Palace because he does need those boots from the Pyramid Fairy, which we will see here very shortly. He's got to jump into the light world, get that big red bomb, and then get back to the dark world.
There is one fortunate thing about having to kill Aga 1 is that there has been a portal which has opened up for easy access. Combination of smoke and mirrors, mostly the magic mirror, able to get to the pyramid spot very easily.
And our hint, one of our hints inside the Tower of Hera states that a unique item is with a Great Fairy. So we already know that the boots lay with a Great Fairy, but we don't know if that hint's talking about the boots or maybe something else. Could it be the single arrow? Maybe a boot?
Soon to find out. Making the way over and through. And before the guard gets to him, Bonta, you can use the mirror. Bombs away as zer0rush now has to face off against Hello Trolldorm, how you doing, buddy?
Decided to go with the hammer strats, not having any of Moldorm's guff.
Well, 50 rupees aren't unique, but the boots certainly are. So 2 hints pointed to the boots at the Pyramid Fairy.
Run, Bonta, run! zer0rush picking up his crystal from the Tower of Hera.
Back to desert for Bonta. And yeah, enjoying the time of it, because you gotta go fast now.
Deciding not to get the Bombos tablet as he rushes past it to get into Desert Palace.
All you need to do in Turtle Rock is find the small key and the big key and you're set. So, not worried about trying to find Quake just yet. But it still might be required, we don't know.
If you can find both of those items on the laser bridge, we are set to go.
Other than that, everything else is a go mode, and big key obtained, and running on past, and going on to see the boss of this place, Lamola's.
You think he'll use the silver arrows or the fire rod here?
I'm not sure.
I'm a fan of the fire rod over the arrows. I'm not so great with my aim, but you know, there's a reason he's here and I'm not. He's probably better at it than I am, but he is equipping the fire rod, which he will need to do to get into that room.
I enjoy the fire rod because it means less menuing for me. I've used the fire rod to light the torches, so then I just use fire rod on the boss. That makes sense to me.
And zer0rush showing off the laser bridge entrance, which you can only do in inverted mode here. Gonna make his way and hopefully not die. He picks up some bombs from the first chest here.
Starting from the emergency exit and working backwards across the bridge, and there's a sword upgrade as well, so quality of life for Ganon fighters assured. Silver arrows and tempered sword are possibilities.
And the compass.
Danger now.
Zero has working his way up, back through the back rooms. He is going to go up and start at the top. As Bonta faces off against the land mullahs. Going to go with the silver arrow. And 3 perfect shots make 3 big dead worms.
Yeah, Zero has to be a little careful. Now he needs to find that red cane to continue with his Turtle Rock.
Going for Mimic Cave. Another slight change is the ability to drop down into this room.
No, he does. I just realised he does have a couple of options.
He has found the Bloomerang.
Middle portion of Turtle Rock is sort of available, but again, eventually it's not a great place to be, and you still need the red cane to get to Trinex's room anyway.
Though before the match we did see Bonta trying to hover his way there, and he almost made it a couple of times.
So going backwards through this lava room, and then headed over along the normal path, and then this room with all sorts of nasty things in here.
Looks like Bonta's on his way up Death Mountain as well. I think he's going to go Tower of Hera and then into Turtle Rock to get his last crystals.
Map at the center of the lava room, and then continuing on. You never see this exit normally in open and standard, but here you go, there's a full magic pot under that. But that's okay, because we're in the correct room to continue going up and backwards through the dungeon. Chain jump room. Ooh, little bit of bullying there. And a small key. Can't continue on any further through the front of that dungeon. You need the red cane to do it.
zer0rush needing to get to Mini Moldorm Cave, where all that value was found. And here's that Aga 1 warp that is normally found under the portcullis of Hyrule Castle. As Bonta takes his coffee break.
It's nice to have a pause sometimes in the middle of the run and just relax and think about what you're doing and where you're going in life, and then the game says, oh, by the way, I've opened the door for you, you can move on now.
Gives you a chance to stand up, stretch your leg a little bit, as zer0rush goes to check Sasha Lara. We get to see what the old man has for us.
Come on, Shabadoo.
We do have the green pendant. There are 4 items checks in here. We get 20 rupees for the green pendant from the old man.
Pocket money and love. And some explosives.
Just like Grandpa always had.
Wait. So, continuing on now, looks like Eastern Palace, Palace of Darkness.
We already know where all the items are, and that makes this difficult to watch.
The bow in Checkerboard Cave. Wrong desert. You want the one in the west, not the one out here in the east.
And I know I was hoping for a vanilla bow location, but this is still hard to watch.
You can only get so far in this dungeon, and then that's it, you're done. And, yeah.
And chat pointing out, no, the mitts are not required in inverted, unless there is a required item within King's Tomb because of the change to how you access Misery Mire. Finding 10 arrows on Moldorm and getting his crystal, Bonta on his way to Turtle Rock for the final crystal.
So there's one location in the middle of the dungeon working backwards from Laser Bridge that we weren't able to see, and that's the Spike Roller Room. And then there's the 3 at the very top of the dungeon. Big Key has to be in one of those 4 locations.
Lovely hammer dash across the bridge there as Bonta goes into the back entrance of Turtle Rock to Laser Bridge, hoping for an early big key, but we know he's only going to find the small one. But he will pick up his Tempered Sword, making life a little easier for him, unless he skips the third chest.
Random order of chests to confuse the audience. Meanwhile, button dive for zer0rush.
Bonta randomizing how he opens it up since we had so much vanilla already. This is one of those cases where that muscle memory might work against you, is this pathing room with the platform. You're so used to going a certain way, and then, oof, all of a sudden that is not the way you need to go.
Fortunately, that room is relatively straightforward. As we found out watching a key sanity run recently, if you're going backwards through that room, all you need to do is hold up, and that will take you back to the entrance. It's very simple to go backwards, but obviously it's very difficult to go forwards. That room without the lamp is completely dark, and you have to guess a little bit at the time.
On to finding a small key in the log roller. zer0rush saving and quitting out in the dark world. We get to see Celeste again.
Yeah, that bunny beam able to make contact and struggling a bit with the switches and trying to kill this pokey, which is incredibly annoying.
Without the powder, he's got to worry about those anti-fairies now too.
I give up with most of these pokies nowadays. I don't bother with trying to cut them down with the sword. I just incinerate one with the fire rod instead, because it's much quicker sometimes. Pokies are terrible.
zer0rush has the butter sword, I think.
Yeah, acquired that whilst searching through Eastern Palace.
Oh, well, there we have it. We know where all 4 swords were.
Chain chomp room providing another small key. And onto having a little bit of difficulties. Chain chomps are awful in all versions of the game.
Taking the death from the chain chomps, those things are just vicious.
So you're going to have to work the way all the way back up from emergency exit, all the way back up through the dungeon.
He did not pick up the Quake Medallion off of the Lake Hylia Island.
Generally, you'd want to be at this place anyway, because when you use the mirror after finding the big key, it puts you with the exit very close to Trinex.
zer0rush and Kakariko.
Looks like coming and cashing in the purple chest to get the ice rod.
That was a very lovely hint we got so early on. Bonta making his way back through Turtle Rock to get back up to where he can keep looking for that big key. If it's in that first chest in that spike room, that's going to be rough on him. But he does have a fairly sizable lead of items and crystals right now, so...
Yeah, once he finds the big key, that's pretty much it.
Picking up a great full magic refill off that Stalfos. As he makes his way to the spike room here. zer0rush picking up his ice rod from Gary's lunchbox. Big 20 in the spike room. We're going to go play with the torches.
Yeah, last possible room, only 2 chests there. We're not picking up the big chest because we don't need any more items. So, last 2 chests in the game, potentially. You're not going to tell Bonta what to do. He can pick up any other chest he wants to.
zer0rush making the play on Mini Moldorm Cave. He will not regret this. There's the big key and a piece of heart. Bonta going to take the death warp as opposed to mirroring out.
It gives you most of your hearts back rather than just staying on 3 or however many it was at the time. Now back up to 6. That's efficiency. Because you also don't have to swap to the mirror, you can just go straight into this room with the Ganon Mario equipped.
Nice show off of the cane dash there as we make our way to the Trinex room. Will Bonta show off? No, he will not. Oh, little early on the jump there, buddy. zer0rush, having found the book and the Cane of Samaria, making his way to desert so he can mirror over to the Misery Mire. Bonta using backdoor strats against that first head on Trinex. And making quick work of the fire and ice heads.
Yep. Only 5 hits required with a Tempest Sword. It's nicer than trying to do this with the hammer as well. And some spin slashes and a 0 cycle on Trinex's main head.
Excellent double slash there. Excellent double spin there. Finding bombs on the snake. And the final crystal. So we play a game here, and is where is the Ganon's Tower Big Key? And you have 22 options as to where to find it within the basement. I believe we have a game we can start. Get your guesses in now.
Yeah, if you're subscribed to any one of the Speed Gaming channels, or you have donated around 250 bits in any of the channels, you can play the game. If not, you can also play for fun. All you need to do is type a number between 1 and 22 in the chat, and we are guessing where in Ganon's Tower is the big key. My guess, as always, is 12, because that's my name. Scantor, what's your guess going to be?
Lucky number 13.
There we are, either side, 12, 13. And there's the crystals, off they go. Zelda showing the way forward, and Hyrule Castle Tower becomes Ganon's Tower. A little change that was made for inverted.
And here we go. Let's count the items. Small key in 1, 10 arrows in 2.
Continuing on, right side. And ignoring the tiled room, as everyone should do. It's a bad room. Now, making way over to the compass room. It's interesting to see that recently a lot of races I've seen, most people, if they get a small key in the Hope room, they will just go full right side no matter what nowadays. And that used to be a little bit out of favour, because there are theoretically more checks if you go along the full left side of this tower, but...
Piece of heart in 3, piece of heart in 4, piece of heart in 5, and the red mail in 6.
Oh baby, a triple.
Gonna pick up a small key here, looks like he's gonna mirror back and hit a full left.
That one counts, even though we're not picking it up. That's 7.
Shield on 7. Bob lives for this seed. Piece of heart on 8. Small key on 9. The flute on 10. And the shovel on 11.
Ew.
Fetch quest, anyone?
2 items, same inventory slot. You get them both in the same room.
Bombs on 12.
I have bombs? I do now.
Well, you had bombs. Bonta picked them up.
My bombs! He stole them. Terrible.
Mischievous little Mog.
Moving around past the spike trap. Yes. And then we've got the chest, the other side of this pit. You need to hookshot across to.
Powder, lucky number 13. There's some safety for him.
Means we go to everyone's favourite room, Randomizer room.
zer0rush finding the hint that some bombs were for Grumpy Fish. 14 piece of heart. 15! Number 15 held the big key. And the first subscriber or supporter to guess correctly was Kinghorn. Congratulations, Kinghorn, for your entrance on the leaderboard. Or your leading the leaderboard, as it were.
Goodness.
12 wins. Wow.
What a good number. I like that number. Keep it that there. Goodness.
Bonta getting through Ganon Ball, no problem. Going to go into the safety room and pick up these berries for a full health refill and a full magic fill. And we are here in the gauntlet.
Yeah, first room, a couple of skeletons and some Zazaks, and they're all terrible. And also conveyor, it's all horrible. Second room.
Zazaks, that's what they're called? I always called them bronies.
Yeah, they're crocodile people and they're awful. And the red ones shoot fire, they're even worse. Blue ones just get in the way of everything, but the red ones, they're vindictive.
I thought
Here
they
they are.
were.
And, ooh.
See, now I just
Yeah.
feel them.
These rooms. Oh, okay. That was
Slip
actually
and
pretty
slide.
good, room 4 and 5, because the ice physics in those rooms, combined with the enemies, they're terrible rooms.
Making quick work of Landmo 2, showing off those lovely silver strats again. Using the cane to get rid of all 3 of those skeleton whiz-robes, no problem. As he rushes through the cow guards into the other whiz-robe room. Only this time with conveyor belts, and still having no problems.
Zero's just made his way to Vitreous with gold
Without
sword.
the bow, without the silvers, woof. But he does have
Yeah.
that gold sword.
You are going to see the alternative strats just stand in the goop, get hit a little bit, then release a spin attack and murder everything. Murdering everything is good. Write that down, chat. Killing your enemies is good.
Making quick work of Vitreous, claiming his crystal from Misery Mire. As Bonta makes his way to Moldorm 2. Will we fight the worm or will we run? We are going to fight the worm.
Very nice.
Very quick work. Just one spin and one slash the Temple Sword. deciding
Teasing
not
us
to
a
pick up the final chest in the game, and
Teasing
going
us a
on his
little
way
bit.
to Geometry Wars.
Looked like he was about to get himself lined up, get ready for that half, and then no, don't be silly. I'm gonna hook shot across. Now's not the time to do anything drastic. Ah, the favourite wizard out of the two, Geometry Wizard. Oh,
Only getting one off that one.
able to get the rebound shot. And
A little bit of a rage dash there into the door. That's a nice double. And a triple, finishing off Aga 2.
Wow, we got all the numbers there. 0, 1, 2, and 3. We like 4 cycles like that. All the numbers.
And here we go to fight the big blue pig.
Zero's trundling along with his big bong. He's going to get the boots. Still no clue where that bow is. We found it in checkerboard.
Ganon getting philosophical before going full madman. Red male tempered sword? Yeah. This isn't a bad fight.
Yeah. Phases 1 and 2, with the temper sword, 12 slashes against Ganon. Spin attacks do double damage. If you hit him twice with the same spin attack, that's quad damage. So, very nice. I think that's the end of phase 2 immediately.
Phase 2 is the tricky one of all those fire bats. You really don't want to stare. Ooh, missed the slash a little bit there. Got the fire bat spinning around.
Yeah, don't hug the pig, because, again, crazy damage if he sits on you, which almost happened there.
There, he made the slash there.
3 down, and there's 4. Very quick phase 3. So now it's just plant the silvers in the pig's face, and that's the game.
Missing the torch glitch.
Holding off on relighting the torches to make sure that the pig was out of the way. And there's silver number 4, and that is Ganon down. Everyone gets bacon.
Get your GGs in chat for Bonta evening up this match of 3 against zer0rush. They will be going to game 3, the settings will be determined by the bot, and each runner will get a single veto on a mode they really don't want to play. And we'll see if we can get Bonta into chat for a interview. But really, Bonta made all the right plays there. He made the perfect, correct gambles to get this sorted out right.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't have expected the Froggo to have the Moon Pearl, so both of our runners getting that and deducting correctly that was where it was. That impressed me that everyone was able to go for that quite quickly, not having to resort to a tremendous amount of glitches.
It appears Zero has stopped, so he will not be seeing that particular runner finish his match tonight, or finish his seed today. And then Bonta has completed his and finished this round.
This was game 2 in a best of 3, so we will be going to a game 3 between these two opponents. The winner of that will progress on to the round of 16 in the tournament. And the settings are to be determined randomly. And that will be played at a later date. We don't have a date for that just yet.
We'll see if we can get either one of our runners in for an interview here shortly.
meantime, I can let you know of a few more races. A few? We have several. Tomorrow. I have Game 1 of Every Raw versus Mikan, 4:30 PM. I have Game 1 Solski versus Furaim. That's at 6 o'clock PM. These are all Eastern Standard Time. At 8:20 PM, DT versus Aktabaka. 8:30 PM, Chex Human versus Salty Fry. 8:30 PM also, Super Nintendo versus Kyong92. 9:30 PM, Bwain versus Elminster. And also 9:30 PM, Pika Pals versus ACMLM. And that's all tomorrow. We don't have any channels set up for these races just yet, but already that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 races tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be a bumper day. Lots of races to watch if you're interested in the tournament. Of course, this is going to Game 3, but the winner of this match will progress on to the next round and be facing against Willard J. Bradley.
Well, that's sure to be a good match. Willard's really good to get this far. Now, I can't seem to find either of our runners, so it seems we may not have an interview much. So I thought we were going to have one.
Chat, no, that's bad. They didn't die. Everyone is fine.
That is true. We are being restreamed on Speed Gaming Francais, so they are probably doing their interview there.
Just confirming, Bonta is doing a French interview, so he will be chatting to our partners on Speed Gaming Francais, and we'll be talking to them.
When he's finished with that, I'm sure he'll come in and come and chat with us for a bit. So of all the things that we found, what was the thing that surprised you the most, Doc?
I was a little surprised to find the Moon Pearl on that sequence. I knew that it was in the logic, but I wouldn't have thought it would be there. I thought maybe the Moon Pearl is going to be in a more obvious place, and then the items are going to be a bit more spread out across the light world, and maybe we get a couple of fetch quests in there with the mushroom and the shovel. And that just didn't materialize. It was just an interesting position to have that Moon Pearl, and then after that, the game just sort of opened up very nicely.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the Moon Pearl on the blacksmiths as well. I thought we would find it maybe someplace in the well. Not the well. I misspoke. I'm sorry. In the village, I thought it might have been on the bottle vendor.
Yeah, that one is a bit more out in the open. You don't have to do any tricks with the mirror to get to the dwarf swordsmith and then maneuver him around. That one's a little bit more out in the open.
I'd say the biggest surprise for me was definitely all the vanilla we had, with especially with that swag net. That bug net being right there on the sick kid was, wait, what?
Yeah, the net, we had pieces of heart and loads of 300 rupees were there as well, and it's some of the useful items, trying to find. It took a very long time, and then it's like, oh, by the way, here's 300 rupees. Here's another 300 rupees. Here's more money. Do you want any more money yet? And
I'm pretty sure we found every 300 rupee drop, including the one on King Zora, which, that was a life lesson, but it's not as bad as the ones that normally happen, where it's a 20 rupee or a 5 rupee.
it's just funny that I saw our runners going into Kakariko village with about, say, 300 rupees and trying to find some money to go and see King Zora, walking out the village with 1100, 1500 rupees. That's a very rich village.
Well, not anymore.
No, not... Whoops.
Again, we are just waiting on Bonta to finish his interview with Speed Gaming Francais to come in and have his interview with us. We never did find the single arrow.
No, we didn't.
Which is my personal favorite thing to find.
No,
I don't know why, but I always end up finding it, and I'm always thrilled to see it.
I don't know, it's just low collection rate as well, just very... not having to open too many chests out of the way. Everything seemed to be out in the open and available, and then you suddenly collect everything and go, wait a second, have I got go mode? I don't know. Let's pretend that we have, and let's go and get all the crystals. That seems to work out.
That seemed to work out just fine for Bonta, making quick work of the seed.
Collection rate 123. Very low count. It's the only village in Hyrule. Where else are people going to spend their money? Well, when you put it like that, I mean,
there's a shop on Lake Hylia. And it seems Bonta has declined an interview with us tonight. We do apologize for that. We will not be having an interview with Bonta, our winner, tonight.
okay, so we're not sure if we're going to be able to obtain zer0rush either. So all that remains is to remind people of where we now currently stand with this match. This match is a best of 3. Bonta won this game, which was game 2. And so now the game stands at 1 apiece. We will be going to a game 3 in this best of 3. The time and day for that is still to be decided. And of course the mode is also to be decided as well. That will be randomized by the computer, and that will be chosen. And then the winner of this match will progress into the next round, the round of 16, and will be playing Willard J. Bradley in the next round.
And with that computer-decided settings, each racer will get 1 veto for a mode they don't want to play, such as Randomizer or maybe Expert mode, perhaps Swordless, and then they will have to deal with whatever the bot spits out. Now, both of these runners did put on an excellent show. Do give them a follow on Twitch to show your support for someone putting on such a great show. And a thanks to our tracker, Holsty, who was able to keep track of both runners and all their various item pickups throughout this entire match.
Yeah, we like to thank our trackers for whichever races that we do, mostly because they have all the hard work. We just get to talk about the races. They actually have to pay attention to everything, and they make us look good as well. So big shout out to Horse Team. Thank you for tracking for us. We love you.
All right, so if you don't want to miss any of the great matches we're going to be having during the remainder of this fall tournament, especially now that we've entered into the brackets, be sure to follow the Speed Gaming network of channels 1 through 6, and we're also going to be having some of them on Link to the Past Randomizer channels, which 1 through 5, I believe. So give those a follow so you don't miss out on any of the action during this tournament. And with that, since we will not be getting zer0rush in for an interview, I'm pretty sure we're going to call this a wrap. I've been Scantor86, and I was joined by 12th Doc for the commentary on this match. And that's what we have for you tonight. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. Stay tuned for more Link to the Past randomizer action, and we'll see you guys next time.